Good morning. We find ourselves at Wednesday of the first full week of our great penitential season of Lent. Today, let's look briefly at something which I'm pretty certain all of us are very familiar with, and that is the Stations of the Cross. Every Catholic church you walk into, you will see depicted on the walls of the church the 14 Stations of the Cross. And of course, it is a particularly powerful devotion during the season of Lent. The Stations of the Cross have their present form, or at least the form in which we would recognize them as the first station. Jesus is condemned to death by Pontius Pilate, to the 14th station where Jesus has died and is placed in the tomb, the Holy Sepulchre. The Christian Catholic knights who had fought in the First and Second Crusades, which took place close together to each other, after they had returned from the Crusades to their homes in Western Europe, or at least Europe as we would recognize it today, they very much were affected by their own visits to the sacred sites in Jerusalem, Mount Calvary, the Holy Sepulchre where our Lord Jesus was buried. They would make a penitential way of the cross. They found the location where Jesus was condemned to death in the Praetorium. As we read of it, especially in St. John's Gospel, and they retraced the steps Jesus took on that way to Calvary, the Via Dolorosa, the way of sorrow and suffering. And they brought that back with them to their homes, their local churches and dioceses, and obviously because they couldn't exactly replicate what they found in Jerusalem, the custom quickly developed with very ornate and in many times life-size stations, 14 Stations of the Cross, where Catholics could move within their churches from the first station through the second, all the way to the 14th station, and in a certain sense, in miniature, make the holy way of the cross, the same Via Dolorosa that Jesus himself walked from his condemnation to death to his actual burial in the Holy Sepulchre. However, the Stations of the Cross, as we know them, have a longer history than just from these returning knights. They gave the form we're familiar with to the Stations of the Cross. However, there were in many Christian Catholic areas of Europe at the time various devotional practices that people could, in again a more confined way, walk the life of Jesus. These various devotions tried to not only increase people's faith and devotion, but also to instruct them in the mysteries of our faith. And so as we look at the Stations of the Cross, they quickly came to be known as the unwritten Bible. In other words, through visual and through actually physically walking a certain way which represented either the entire life or a part of the life of Jesus, Catholics who were in the main illiterate and couldn't read the Bible, Catholics yet were able to be instructed by their priests and religious women in the life of Jesus, in the various tenets of our Catholic faith. So during this Lenten season, I would urge you if you're going to daily Mass, perhaps get there a little early and walk the Stations of the Cross. Most of our parishes, every Friday of Lent, have the Stations of the Cross. If you are able, go and participate in them. It's a tremendous devotional prayer, and one that has about a 900-year history in its present form in our Catholic Church. Continue to pray, to perform those good works, and be faithful to the penances you've committed yourself to in this holy season in anticipation of the resurrection of our Lord at Easter. God bless you.